Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We'll look at the satellite picture here as we wake up on Tuesday morning as the sun arises, and our next weather system across the central and eastern U.S. is already beginning to churn across the southwest. It's going to lift across the central plains into the Midwest, bringing very unsettled weather to the central U.S. and parts of the Midwest, but also bringing some precipitation and some warmer weather, initially at least, to parts of the Northeast region. So while the storm is going to be the worst off to the west, we'll still feel the impact here across the Northeast region. So let's dive in a bit. I'm going to show you the evolution of this thing. We're watching one little wave across the Pacific Northwest that's going to merge with our much larger, already very impressive wave across the Southwest. You're going to watch as this video goes, as this dives to the southeast and kind of they merge over the Intermountain West before developing into one large storm system over the central United States, and that's where we get our very big cyclone. This has, meteorologists and weather enthusiasts excited. We can look at the European simulated infrared satellite picture here and watch this thing take shape. We're going to be looking for that classic comma shape of a mid-latitude cyclone across the United States, and that's where we see blizzard conditions across the northern plains, severe weather threat across the mid-south and the Midwest, and then eventually some precipitation moving into the Northeast. Talking briefly about the hazards map, already got a colorful picture here with blizzard warnings, winter storm watches across the northern plains. We've got flood watches across the upper Midwest where there's snow on the ground that will be melting with heavy rain falling on top of that. Wind advisories, high wind warnings across the central plains. Those will, I'm sure, be expanding across the Midwest, potentially into the Northeast as the weekend arrives here. But just take a snapshot look at this by looking at the high-resolution NAM model. This is going to get us through to Thursday evening, so it won't get us to the point where the storm is impacting us here in the Northeast. But you can see this, just again, really impressive storm system with heavy snow on the north side, and then the rain and thunderstorms, perhaps severe weather from the southern plains through the mid-south, even parts of the Midwest perhaps under the gun on Thursday. But let's zoom in here a little bit, or at least extend this first and look at the high resolution, or the European long-range model here. Too many words being thrown out there with this impressive storm system, a lot to keep track of. But we can slow this down and go step by step here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead, jump back to the beginning. We're moving through the middle of the week now. We are on Wednesday, and this is when we are at peak meteorological excitement here with this incredible storm system centered over the central plains, Kansas and Nebraska. Heavy snow falling. We've got severe weather threat now across the south. As this plays out, though, the storm system, it matures Wednesday and Thursday. It begins to kind of lose its shape as it lifts off to the northeast, but still very impressive now, bringing some rain to parts of the Northeast. Again, we're in the warm sector on this one. Strong storm system, bringing in a lot of warm air in advance of this. We'll look at temperatures here at the very end. On the backside, colder air does filter in, so we do see some snow on the back end, but no significant snow expected with this one. Although you see the tightly packed isobars, this is still a strong storm system, and winds will be gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour at times. So even with some light snow, perhaps some travel headaches as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Now we'll take a closer look here at the European model. We do see a wave move through, an upper-level disturbance that brings some light snow to parts of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. This would be Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. That quickly exits the area, though, and then we just await this much larger storm system as it approaches from the west. Precipitation finally moving into the Northeast region here late in the day Thursday, into Friday morning. We're at midnight on Friday now with rain and thunderstorms moving out of Ohio into Pennsylvania and parts of New York State. Virginia getting in on that as well. As we head into midday Friday, this rain is already racing off to the east and getting out of here. When colder air begins to filter in on the backside, this gets into Saturday afternoon, and then potentially lingering into Sunday, some light snow across the region. How much snow? Again, I said no significant snow. We're talking about maybe 5 to 6 inches at the most in parts of northern New York State where we get some enhancement from the lake. Otherwise, high elevation areas looking at 2 to 4 inches of snow with a light coating otherwise across much of New York State, parts of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Again, just a light coating to around 1 inch of snow from this one, but you factor in those winds, perhaps a little bit of a headache. for the back half of the weekend. Now, temperatures, we can go ahead and track this as we warm up in advance of the storm system. High temperatures on Wednesday, the warmest off to the south, across parts of Virginia, where we're seeing the 60s, getting into the 50s across Pennsylvania, 40s elsewhere across the region, but they're warming up nicely. 50s becoming widespread by Thursday, warmer still on Friday, with again 60s beginning to lift as far north as parts of New York State, maybe even parts of Massachusetts and far southern New Hampshire and Vermont there, but still mid-50s widespread across the region. Going to begin melting some of that snow that is on the ground. The colder air starts working in late in the day on Saturday into Sunday, especially, where we see our high temperatures knocked back down into the 30s. But this is certainly better than what we've seen with the last few storm systems, with our temperatures knocking down into the single digits and teens. So getting a little bit more seasonally appropriate at the very least with our storm systems these days. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have a much deeper, in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and you can catch your next regional forecast right here on Friday. Have a great day.